All right, y'all. So welcome to the first of the videos that I'm going to make for Introduction to Computer Science. This is me, Mr. Vogie. This is my awesome unfinished basement. I'm going to be down here making a whole bunch of videos. Let's just see how well this screencasting is going to work. So the app that you're going to use for Introduction to Computer Science is called Pythonista 3. It's the one here on the top left with the little green arrow icon. I think it's like $10 or something like that. Totally worth it. You're going to be using it every day in this class. So when you download that thing and install it, it'll bring up a screen that looks something like this. And there's a bunch of ways we can customize this. So the first thing I would suggest is getting rid of this ugly white background and adding some color. So this little gear down here on the left-hand side on the very bottom is going to bring up all of our settings. And I'd like to go through and change my theme to something darker just because I think it looks better. So I'm going to go over here and just pick, I don't know, that one. Sure. Done. This is easier on my eyes to look at this thing. So the second thing I want to do is come over here to this iPad. You're going to store all of your work on here. I know it says you can store it on the cloud. Don't. It's people have had problems with that before. Store all your work locally on the iPad and then back it up later if you want. But definitely keep copies of all your files on the device itself. And in here, you're going to make some folders. You'll see I already have a whole bunch because I've used this iPad before and you haven't. This is also, by default, they will show little thumbnails of the codes for all your stuff. You can turn that off or on by clicking these three dots down here in the bottom left between the plus and the gears and just turning off thumbnail previews if you want. I don't know, maybe it's a little bit cleaner. You can also sort by name versus sort by date. So I'm going to ask you to come in here and make a folder. So hit the plus button. That's not the plus button. Hit the plus button and make a new folder. And we'll call it Fall 2020. Within Fall 2020, you're going to want to have a folder called Notes. You're going to want to have a folder called Assignments. And you're going to want to have a new folder called Project. All right, and that's it. Every day I'm going to run you guys through a couple of examples. You're going to want to do these on Notes, which is going to be really hard if you're watching this on your iPad. So my suggestion to you is going to be, I want you to watch these videos on your phone or on a computer or something like that so that you can have Pythonista up running in the background. All right, so we've looked at how to set our screen up a little bit. Today I want to just kind of show you what we can do with Pythonista. So the nice thing about Python is that it's a really easy language to learn. And then I say that like, wow, this is really easy, Vogie, are you kidding me? It's a whole lot easier than HTML or Java or C++ because most of the words are closer to English than some of those other languages. Maybe I should just show you some of the cool stuff we've done. So it'll involve using all the features that iPad offers. You can use the accelerometer and tilt the iPad to steer. You can also swipe your fingertip across the screen to make magic stuff happen. It'll incorporate sound and the microphone and all sorts of other things. So this is a simple little code that makes a sentence that you want to appear show up on the screen. Oops, exclamation point. It's got some sweet little visual effects and everything with it. Lorenz rotator is pretty awesome too. It's another little thing I wrote. This is a funky kind of shape. It's a chaos system kind of thing. And it's making this weird butterfly shape, but it's actually in 3D. So you can teach Python how to when you swipe your finger across the screen, that it should rotate the screen. So right now you're looking at it from a forward view, but I can swipe my finger left, right, like this. I'm moving my finger across the screen and get it to rotate sideways. Here, reset. I can get it to spin up and down. Well, that's kind of cool. You can see why they call it the Lorenz butterfly. Reset it. I can also put two fingers on the screen and get it to rotate and twist around. And that's all done with just a few simple lines of code right here. I mean, that's 160 lines of code to run that whole thing. And most of it is just drawing the silly thing, not actually calculating it. We can run all sorts of other fun animations. Here's what a double pendulum would look like, and then we're tracing out the tips. I can't draw really well, but I like kind of making art. So we're going to play around with getting this thing to simulate real-world models and to draw cool stuff. We're going to learn how to use pop-up windows, and you'll notice that a lot of the functionality that iPad and iOS has with sliders like this and with buttons will show up. So here's a game I wrote where you got to catch all the little balls as they move around the screen by touching them with your finger. Boom. There's a pop-up window that pauses it. You know, this is a segmented control. This looks exactly like all the stuff you would see in settings on iOS. We can choose between whether the shapes are circle or squares. We can make them bigger or smaller if you want them easier or harder to catch. We can invert the background so that now it's a light background with dark color bands. And boom, there's my score, 10.2 seconds. You can also make like old school video games. This is an app that was real popular in, I don't know, 2016 or something like that, Flappy Bird, where you tap the screen. Oh, well, Flappy Bird is a registered trademark, so of course it's Flappy Bee. I wrote this in about an hour, and you guys are going to be able to make some pretty cool video games by the time this is all done too. Oh, oops, I lost. All right. Anyway, you're going to be doing all this stuff on Pythonista. Today I just wanted to show you what the background, or how you can change the backgrounds and make it look different, and then if you want to get ahead a little bit, if you want to play with this, you can come into examples right over here in the main folders and hit examples and go through and play with all this stuff. They run you through a whole tutorial on how to make a pretty cool game. There's some pretty nifty stuff in the user interface thing. You can play around with all that, but that's it. Not too difficult, folks. We're going to start on the actual coding stuff tomorrow, so see ya.